The following scene is a reenactment of Perry v. Schwarzenegger, the Prop 8 trial heard in U.S. District Court. Plaintiff Jeffrey Zarrillo, a gay Californian who was directly affected by the passage of Proposition 8, is under direct examination by the plaintiff's lawyer, David Boies. The plaintiffs in this case are two loving same-sex couples who simply want to marry, just as any heterosexual couple in America has the right to do. Court is now in session.
Very well, Mr. Boies, your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. We call Jeffrey Zarrillo.
Raise your right hand, please. Thank you. Jeffrey Zarrillo, called as a witness for the plaintiff's hearing, having been first duly sworn, was examined and testifies as follows.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. State your name.
Jeffrey James Zarrillo.
And spell your last name.
Zarrillo.
And your first.
Jeffrey is Jeffrey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very well, Mr. Boies.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Zarrillo.
Good morning, David.
Let me begin by asking you to tell the court a little bit about yourself. How old are you?
I'm 36 years old.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Jersey.
How long have you been in California?
I've been in California since 1999.
Do you have any siblings?
I have one brother.
Tell me about your parents. Are they married?
My parents have been married for 41 years.
Is your brother married?
My brother's been married for just about 14 years.
And where did you go to school?
I went to school at Brick Township High School in Brick, New Jersey.
Did you go to college?
I graduated from Montclair State University in Upper Montclair, New Jersey in 1995.
And are you employed?
Yes, I am.
What do you do?
I work for AMC Entertainment Incorporated.
And how long have you done that?
It's the only job I've ever had for 21 years.
And how did you start?
I started out as a ticket taker and worked my way up to general manager of operations, which I currently am today.
Are you gay?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you been gay?
As long as I can remember.
And how long have you been openly gay?
I came out in stages. I came out to friends and coworkers that I had here in California when I was 25, and ultimately came out to my friends and family back in New Jersey when I was just about 30.
Why did it take so long?
Coming out is a very personal and internal process. You have to get to the point where you're comfortable with yourself, with your identity and who you are. So it was difficult for me where I grew up. Just with school and peer pressure and the things that you hear and the things that people say, the things that you read about with regards to the gay and lesbian community and what that coming out process means. So it was hard for me. Ultimately, you do get to the point where you are comfortable with yourself. While previously your thought process included what other people were going to think about you coming out. But it's not about that. It was about me and how I felt growing up in that society with the stereotypes and the hate that existed.
And what kinds of things were you referring to when you talk about the things that you read or the different stereotypes or hate that existed?
I mean, I think we can all remember times, whether it be grammar school, middle school, high school, even in college, and not necessarily to do with gay issues, but just the peer pressure and the things that friends and acquaintances said. Especially at a time when I was going through this internal process and many of my friends identified themselves as straight and were taking women to school dances, the prom, dating women. It was tough for me. I was someone who wanted to go out for the football team, but I was afraid to be with other men in the locker room.
What were some of the things that you heard and that were said that caused you concern before you came out?
Objection, hearsay.
I beg your pardon?
Hearsay, Your Honor.
I think it goes to the mental impression of the witness' state of mind. Objection overruled.
I can remember specific times watching TV. I can't think of the specific name of the after-school special, but it was an after-school special about a kid who came out to his parents and who was ultimately kicked out of his home and told by his parents that they didn't love him and not to come back. And I remember when I was in middle school, I was watching One Life to Live, and there was a kid who, Ryan Phillippe played a gay kid, and on the show he found it very hard to come out in his home, his community, and ultimately his father kicked him out of his home because he couldn't accept him and told him not to come back.
Now, today you're involved in a relationship with another gay man. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about that man.
He's the love of my life. I love him more than I love myself, probably. I would do anything for him. I want to be with him, for rich or for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Just like vows. I would do anything for him. And I want nothing more than to marry him.
And how long have you been in this relationship?
March will be 9 years.
And when you say you want nothing more than to marry him, why?
I think marriage has a special meaning. If it wasn't so important, we wouldn't be here today. I want to be able to partake in the joy that my parents felt, that my brother and his wife felt, that my friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, of being a married person. And it's the logical next step for us.
Do you believe that if you were married, that would change your relationship at all?
Absolutely. I feel that a person's ability to love can absolutely grow, and I feel that the capacity to be committed to another individual can absolutely expand, and I feel that that would happen for us.
And do you believe that if you were able to be married, that would change your relationship with your family and your friends, your community?
Absolutely.
How so again?
It's that I would be able to partake in family gatherings, friends gathering with friends, as a married individual, to be able to stand next to my parents and my brother and his wife as an entire family who have all had the opportunity to take advantage of being married, and the joy of the joy of when that happens.
And do you believe that if you were able to be married, that would change your relationship with people who don't even know you?
Sure.
Can you give me some examples?
It's that whether it's an introduction with a stranger or someone noticing my ring, I think it shows that these two individuals are serious. They've made a serious commitment, and they've taken that next step to be involved in a relationship that one hopes will last the rest of their life.
Now, do you have any children?
No.
Have you talked about having children, the two of you?
Yes.
Why haven't you had children?
Paul and I believe that the important thing for us to have children would be for us to be married. It would make it easier for us, for our children, to explain our relationship, for our children to be able to explain our relationship, and to have the added protections, to have the assurance that if we were going to enter into that type of family institution, that we would have all the protections so that nothing could ever eradicate that nuclear family.
Now, you are aware that in the state of California, you can register as domestic partners under California state law.
Yes, I am.
Have you done that?
No, I have not. No, we have not.
Why not?
Domestic partnership would relegate me to a level of second-class citizenship. maybe even third-class citizenship, the way things are in California today. It's giving me part of the pie, not the whole thing. And obviously it's an opportunity for us to do that. But if we were to get registered, it would be like we were saying that we were okay with domestic partnership as a way to live our lives. And it just doesn't give the due respect to the relationship that we've been in for almost 9 years. Only a marriage can do that.
Do you have friends who've registered as domestic partners under California state law?
Probably. It's not something that's talked about.
Do any of your friends celebrate their anniversaries of registering as domestic partners under state law?
No.
Anything like that?
No.
How does not being married affect you in your life? I mean, does it subject you to further discrimination?
Yes, it does.
And how so?
The discrimination, whether it's directly or indirectly, it's pervasive. Especially after Prop 8. Prop 8 has emboldened other states to take similar actions. You can't turn on the television. You can't open a newspaper. You can't go on the internet or read a blog without reading about it. It's everywhere. It's a daily reminder of what I can have.
And have you encountered instances where, because you're not married, you're subjected to embarrassing and awkward situations?
Yes, we have.
Can you give me some examples?
One example is when Paul and I travel, it's always an awkward situation at the front desk. Every time we go to check in, the clerk just gives us this perplexed look on his face and says, "You booked a king-size bed? Is that really what you want?" And certainly that's an awkward situation for him, and for us, it just is. Once I had to open a bank account. Paul and I had to open a bank account. And it's certainly an awkward situation to walk into the bank and have to say, my partner and I want to open a joint checking account. And hearing, well, is it a business, a partnership? It would just make it easier. Maybe not for those individuals, but it would make it easier and crystallize it more by being able to say, my husband and I are here to open a bank account. My husband and I are here to check into our room.
And are you ever confronted with situations where you're asked to describe your marital status?
Yes, I am.
What do you do?
Those situations are very awkward because as a person who is very proud of his relationship and been in a relationship for almost 9 years, I proudly wear my ring to signify that. But very often at a work function or a gathering of friends, someone will identify the ring and say, "Oh, how long have you been married?" Or, "What does your wife do?" Questions of that awkward nature, and I'm left to deliver the news that I'm a gay man and my husband or domestically partnered friend works in the fitness industry, which only brings further awkwardness to the conversation.
Now, assume that the state of California continues to tell you that you cannot marry someone of the same sex. I mean, might that lead you to want to marry someone of the opposite sex?
No.
Well, why not?
I have no attraction, no desire to be with a member of the opposite sex.
But do you think that maybe if somehow you were forced into a marriage with someone of the opposite sex, I mean, maybe then that might lead to a long-lasting, stable, loving relationship?
Again, no.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Ron.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
No questions.
No cross-examination. Very well, Mr. Zarrillo, sir, you may step down.